If anime was a mistake, then how come it's the only thing stopping me from killing myself? Wait, don't answer that.
It's Thanksgiving time, and the world is going to shit, so there's not much else to be thankful for than Japanese cartoons. But it seems that among the older fandom and folks looking inwards from the mainstream, it's always been a running joke of sorts to point out that anime is in some sort of decline. Judging by the fact that my most successful video in my YouTube career so far is only tangentially related to this topic, it seems to me like a follow-up of sorts is in order. So, if my position wasn't clear at the end of my Miyazaki video, I'll state it directly once again. I love anime. No asterisks attached. I don't just love the stuff I saw as a kid. I don't just love the stuff I rewatch endlessly every 6 months. I don't just love the stuff that's deemed respectable by the average passerby. I love anime as a medium. Scratch that, I'm in love with anime as a medium, from the core to the extremities. And this video is going to be a heavily anecdotal and personal look at why I, Nino, am thankful for the medium of Japanese animation as it exists now in 2018. Some personal information. I'm 24 years old, I was born here, spent a lot of time here, and currently live here. My first anime was Sailor Moon. I have very clear memories of eating cereal and watching Digimon every day before school. My favorite anime of all time is Samurai Champloo, followed very, very closely by Gurren Lagann. My favorite genres are Jidaigeki, mecha, and shonen adaptations. I, at the time of writing the first draft of the script, had a Crunchyroll subscription that I used mainly to keep up with shows seasonally. And I make a point of looking at AniChart every few weeks to stay abreast of which shows to look out for in the coming months. Up until about a year ago, I frequented 4chan's anime board, and for about 5 years now I've been operating this YouTube channel dedicated to analytical perspectives on anime and Japanese culture. In that time, I was a regular on an anime podcast and have frequently collaborated with other anime YouTubers in discussions about the medium. The reason I gave you that bio is that I want to illustrate that I am not a casual fan of anime and do not purport to be anything other than a hardcore dyed-in-the-wool otaku. So therefore, some people might not find my perspective to be all that useful to them. However, to those people, I'd ask you to wait a bit and let me delve deeper into this subject before deciding to shut off this video. Oh, by the way, it's gonna be one of those extra pretentious video essays with parts and stuff, just like the Crunchyroll one. So, Part 1! Diversifying your portfolio. My first reason for why I'm so thankful for anime is going to run somewhat antithetical to a common opinion that a lot of people seem to have in regards to Japanese animation. I love anime because it's one of, if not the most diverse commercial art forms in existence today. I cannot tell you any medium wherein a show about cheerleading, a show about a zombified pop group, a show about a bunch of kids using a busted old computer to fend off giant monsters, and a show about a family of handsome superpowered men going on a bizarre adventure could air in the same decade, let alone the same week. Next to music, anime is probably the only medium with this much creative diversity, owing entirely to the fact that the culture of media production in Japan allows creators as much freedom as they want as long as they can prove that their project rakes in even the slightest return. Look at any seasonal chart and you'll see so many different types of shows, it's insane. In fact, dare I say, anime has almost gotten better even. What was it that Miyazaki said? Animators today don't know how to capture real life, that they're too focused on unrealistic motion. Now, you see, I'll get to the meat and bones of that in another video, but even if we're going to take his words at face value, are you joking? Have any of you dullards gleefully agreeing with Miyazaki even heard of Kyoto Animation, PA Works? Have you seen Hibike, Shirobako, Hyoka, Wolf Children, Summer Wars, Violet Evergarden? I can go all day. Hell, what was that movie that got all mushy about? Kimi no Na wa, right? Look, if you can make a man as smug and smarmy as Giguk make a heartfelt emotional video about an anime with absolutely zero snarky jokes, then you're capturing the human spirit. I don't care what anyone says. Part 2. It ain't easy being Japanese. Another reason why I'm thankful for anime is because of, well, how Japanese it is. There really is nothing else like it. It's a look into how a culture completely divorced from my own approaches art. A culture that is brimming with different values and quirks that, while I may not understand entirely, I can appreciate and learn about through the art they make. This is another aspect that I seem to think rubs people the wrong way. If you look at the kinds of anime that have historically gained mega fame across the world, the less Japanesey, the more likely it is to gain a massive audience. Hell, Steampunk Samurai Attack on Titan came out and nobody seemed to care all that much. At least not as much as they do about Steampunk regular old Attack on Titan. That's not to say that not all anime being super Japanesey is a bad thing, but we'll get to that. Part 2.5, get into that. Now, I'm not trying to gatekeep and say that if you don't love every weird Japanese cultural quirk that shows up in anime, you aren't a real anime fan, because let's be real, a good bit of it can be pretty off-putting. Some of the best shows I've seen in recent memory aren't all that Japanesey. Remember, this video is about why I'm thankful for anime, and looking back at part 1, the very existence of both shows that are just bleeding Japanese culture and shows that are so removed from it that you would think they came from Adult Swim is a big part of what makes anime so great. Yet, what I was getting to is that while it's okay to have a preference towards anime that are less stylistically Japanese, people should stop disregarding anime that is, well, more Japanesey. Ignoring the aspects of anime that have to do with the fact that it's inherently tied to Japanese culture and their worldviews is pretty close-minded and myopic. It also opens you up to be wholly ignorant of essential aspects of anime that wouldn't really be understood by people if they only tried to approach it through a Western context. Nothing exists in a vacuum, and to try and treat anime like it's just any other medium akin to Western animation, video games, or live action cinema isn't a productive way to carry out a discussion on the medium. In all things, context must always be taken into consideration. And the context I'm obviously talking about is that of the otaku market. And this is where I'm sure a lot of people will find it pertinent to disagree with me wholeheartedly. Look, I'm going to say this flat out. Otaku are not a problem. They aren't some kind of villainous, nebulous scourge that makes all animation studios in Japan pump out show after show that features cute girls doing cute things with tons of fan service and mountains of lolis. If you don't watch anime and spend a lot of time on the internet consuming memes, that's what's going to pop up on your Twitter feed or be proliferated on message boards. But as I've spent most of this video trying to explain, anime is a huge medium with something that can appeal to just about any type of person. Also, unless you're Crunchyroll or Funimation, anime itself, as in the act of producing the animation, feature films being an exception, is not a very profitable business for the most part. Satoshi, who works for A1 Pictures, isn't making that much for a 6 Sakuga cut in Loli Raiders Z, and neither is the production team who put the whole thing together. Most of the revenue comes from franchise building and merchandising, and that's part of the reason why certain aspects of anime get pushed over others. It doesn't make those shows bad, it just exists as a fact of the industry, and ignoring these issues or even simplifying them down to freaking otakus ruining anime is so off base it's maddening. Both because it's not really the fault of those fans, and there's also very easy ways to change this. Japanese companies have historically had a terrible time trying to figure out how to sell anime outside of Japan. Over the years, minor licensing deals were struck all over the world, from Latin America to the Middle East to France, which is why plenty of those regions today have sizable anime communities. If you've ever called Rurouni Kenshin Samurai X, you, my friend, are a byproduct of one of these deals. The constant issue they keep running into, though, is that they don't really have a single clue what it is about anime that draws foreign audiences, because they seem to get wildly mixed signals. Plenty of anime that Japan never really cared about has reached massive success overseas, and some studios have begun to bank on this happening for shows with less of the traditional otaku audience in mind. Couple that with Fuji TV's Noitamina Block, which is an entire programming segment dedicated to giving a spotlight to anime not directed towards otaku, and it has a pretty crazy library of shows that have aired over the years. Wait, where was I? Oh yeah, Japan not knowing how to sell anime. See, the biggest thing is, when Japan eventually figures out what various disparate parts of otaku culture worldwide wants from anime, they'll realize that creating shows made to appeal to a concentrated number of Japanese fans with crazy disposable income might be less profitable than concentrating on more universally appreciated aspects of the medium. Part 3. Finally. You guys are alright. When I first moved to America, way back in 2011, it was the first time I was really able to keep up with the newest seasonal anime as they got simulcasted. With that came a different understanding of how the anime community functioned. I wasn't a weirdo with nobody to talk about anime with anymore. I had 4chan, YouTube comments, the manga stream forums, Facebook anime groups, and plenty of other places to go. Not long after I got into making YouTube videos, I got wrapped up in the inner workings of the YouTube anime community, and with that came a better understanding of the types of people I shared a fandom with. I don't mean to get gushy, cause that's not really the kind of guy I am, but I've made friends doing this anime YouTube thing that I'd never have met otherwise. I've had mentors, close friends, and dare I say it, folks I wouldn't think twice to call family. Anime is special to me for a lot of reasons, and I've spent most of this video running through them. But I think the most important thing to me is something that can't really be quantified into words. Every time I go to an anime convention, every time I'm at karaoke with friends belting out JoJo openings, every time I catch someone getting in an episode of a new seasonal before class starts in the cafeteria, I feel less alone. Isn't that what this is all about? This video was made possible by me, but I won't be able to survive for much longer without help from you. If you enjoyed this video and would like to see more, please support my Patreon, link in the description. Also, happy Thanksgiving. Don't yell at your family members too much. They love you, they just have a hard time figuring out how to say it. Sayonara, Mina-san. Thanks for watching.
Dug the mines and built the workshops, endless miles of railroad laid. Now we stand outcast and starving amid the wonders we have made. But the union makes us strong. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever.